Part 2, Navigating Danger. Chapter 11, A Trail of Clues. The dawn had barely broken when the sea serpent set sail once more. The ship's black sails, stark against the pale morning sky, billowed with a powerful grace as it cut through the ocean's expanse. The early light cast a soft, golden hue over the water, illuminating the ship's polished wood and the determined figures aboard. Mara Hawke and Prince Cale stood at the helm, their silhouettes etched sharply against the backdrop of the rising sun. The urgency of their mission imbued every movement with purpose, their shared resolve to uncover the truth behind the assassination plot driving them forward. As the ship sliced through the gentle waves, the horizon stretched out in an endless expanse of blue, the vast ocean reflecting the serenity of the dawn. Yet beneath the calm surface lay the weight of their precarious alliance, and the high stakes of their journey. Mara's keen eyes were fixed on the distant shoreline, while Cale's gaze lingered on the maps and intelligence reports sprawled before him. The early morning light caught in his azure scales, lending an ethereal glow to his focused expression. The uneasy partnership between Mara and Cale had gradually forged a sense of shared determination, though their collaboration was still tinged with tension. The pirate captain's direct, action-oriented approach contrasted sharply with the mermaid prince's meticulous, strategic mindset. Yet, their disparate backgrounds and methodologies had coalesced into a single, focused drive to address the threat looming over both their realms. Each wave that passed beneath the ship seemed to carry them closer to the answers they sought. The sea serpent navigated toward their next destination with a steady rhythm, its crew bustling about with a practiced efficiency. The sails fluttered in the crisp morning breeze, and the sound of the ship cutting through the water became a rhythmic backdrop to the pair's intensive preparations. Mara's crew moved with purpose, their conversations punctuated by the rustling of charts and the clinking of nautical instruments. Cale's guards, positioned discreetly, maintained a vigilant watch over the surroundings, their presence a silent but potent reminder of the dangers they faced. As the sun climbed higher, casting a brighter light over the ocean's surface, Mara and Cale reviewed the leads they had gathered. Their previous discussions and conflicts gave way to a focused exchange of ideas as they outlined their strategy. Each clue they had uncovered seemed to weave a more complex web of intrigue, hinting at a conspiracy far more intricate than either had anticipated. The weight of their mission was palpable, a shared burden that strengthened their resolve even as it tested their patience. The ship's course was set toward a coastal town reputed to be a hub of clandestine activity. The town's reputation for secrecy and its strategic position made it a prime location for the investigation. Mara, with her experienced eye for detail, and Cale, with his methodical approach, prepared themselves for the challenges ahead. The anticipation of discovering new information mingled with the ever-present tension of their mission, each passing moment bringing them closer to the answers they sought. As the sea serpent approached the town, the shoreline came into view, its rugged beauty juxtaposed with the impending tension of their mission. The town's narrow streets and shadowy corners promised both opportunities and dangers. With every mile closer, the ocean's calm was replaced by the anticipation of the investigation to come. The alliance between Mara and Cale, though still fraught with underlying friction, was united in its resolve to unravel the conspiracy threatening their worlds. The early morning serenity gave way to the buzz of activity as the ship docked and the crew prepared to disembark. The sight of the bustling port and the sounds of the town's life contrasted sharply with the secretive nature of their mission. Mara and Cale, standing side by side, readied themselves to dive into the heart of the investigation. Their partnership, born out of necessity, was now a crucial element in their quest to prevent disaster and secure their realms from the shadows that threatened to engulf them. Mara's sharp eyes scanned the horizon with unerring precision, her gaze cutting through the early morning mist as she kept a steady hand on the wheel. The sea serpent sailed smoothly, the sound of the waves lapping against its hull a soothing contrast to the intense focus she maintained. The recent arguments and conflicts with Cale had been replaced by a steely resolve, each member of their uneasy alliance now wholly immersed in the task at hand. The quiet of the morning was deceptive, a stark contrast to the perilous journey that lay ahead. Beside her, Cale was engrossed in the maps and intelligence reports sprawled across a wooden table on the deck. His azure scales glistened faintly in the soft light, the intricate details of the documents reflecting off his focused eyes. The prince's methodical approach contrasted sharply with Mara's more instinctive style, but the combined effort of their approaches had begun to reveal a labyrinth of deception. Each piece of information they reviewed seemed to intertwine, creating a complex web that threatened to ensnare them if they were not careful. The calm of the morning sea belied the tension that simmered beneath the surface. As Mara adjusted the course of the ship, her thoughts raced through the implications of their findings. Every clue they had gathered pointed towards a conspiracy far more elaborate than either had initially anticipated. The realization that their investigation was uncovering layers of deception only heightened their urgency. Every moment spent in deliberation was a moment the conspirators used to further their plot, making their mission all the more critical. The sea serpent continued its steady course, the gentle rocking of the ship a rhythmic accompaniment to their intense focus. Mara and Cale's collaboration, though still fraught with underlying friction, had forged a strong sense of purpose. They worked together with a shared determination, their individual strengths complementing each other in a way that was both efficient and necessary. The weight of their mission pressed heavily upon them, driving their every action and decision. The horizon stretched endlessly before them, the promise of new leads and hidden dangers hidden beneath the tranquil surface. The landscape of the sea was a vast expanse of potential, each wave and breeze carrying the potential to alter their course. Mara's hands tightened on the wheel as she considered the stakes of their investigation, her mind balancing the need for speed with the imperative of caution. Each choice they made could be the key to unraveling the conspiracy, or the misstep that led to their downfall. Cale's attention remained fixed on the reports, his mind piecing together the fragments of information that had begun to emerge. The layers of intrigue were becoming clearer, but the full picture remained elusive. He understood the importance of every detail, knowing that even the smallest oversight could jeopardize their mission. His patience and analytical approach were critical to their progress, providing a necessary counterbalance to Mara's more impulsive tendencies. As the ship sailed forward, the quiet of the morning hours gave way to a growing sense of anticipation. The alliance between Mara and Cale had transformed from one of mere necessity into a genuine partnership, driven by their shared commitment to protect their realms. The path they were on was fraught with danger, but their unified resolve was their greatest strength. With each passing moment, the urgency of their mission grew, urging them onward through the tangled web of deceit they were determined to unravel. Their first destination was a coastal town shrouded in whispers and rumors, said to be a hub for the conspirators. The town's narrow, winding streets and shadowy corners were perfect for the covert meetings and clandestine dealings that the conspirators were rumored to conduct. As the sea serpent glided into the harbor, its black sails striking against the backdrop of the quaint town, Mara and Cale prepared to disembark, their presence immediately drawing the curious glances of the locals. The atmosphere on the docks was a mixture of the salty tang of the sea and a more unsettling undertone of secrecy. The scent of brine and seaweed mingled in the air, a reminder of the ocean that bordered the town, but beneath that lay a palpable sense of hidden agendas and concealed truths. The buildings, weathered by years of salt and wind, loomed over the streets, casting long shadows that seemed to whisper of the town's dark underbelly. As Mara and Cale stepped onto the cobblestone streets, they felt the weight of their mission pressing upon them. The town's layout seemed almost designed for subterfuge, with narrow alleys and dimly lit corners that provided ample cover for those wishing to avoid the scrutiny of outsiders. Their footsteps echoed softly in the quiet morning, each sound amplified by the hushed environment that surrounded them. The locals watched them with wary eyes, their curiosity barely concealed behind a facade of routine. Merchants and townsfolk went about their business with an air of practiced indifference, but their glances betrayed a sense of unease at the arrival of the two strangers. Mara and Cale moved purposefully through the town, their determination to uncover the truth about the conspiracy driving their every step. The interplay of light and shadow in the town's alleys seemed to mirror the hidden dangers they faced. Every turn held the potential for discovery or deception, and the eerie quiet of the streets only heightened their sense of anticipation. As they ventured deeper into the town, the realization that they were walking into a web of intrigue became more pronounced, their every movement watched by unseen eyes. The investigation commenced with Mara's crew seamlessly integrating into the bustling market scene, their presence unobtrusive yet strategically placed. Their skilled navigation of the crowded stalls and lively chatter allowed them to blend with the local populace effortlessly. As they moved among the vendors and shoppers, they gathered snippets of gossip and overheard fragments of conversations that could provide crucial insights into the conspiracy. Their ability to remain inconspicuous while collecting valuable information was a testament to their seasoned experience in blending with diverse environments. Meanwhile, Cale's guards took up their positions with an air of quiet vigilance, their discipline and training evident in their subtle approach. Positioned in the shadows of the market's edges, they watched with keen eyes, their presence barely noticeable to the casual observer. Their role was to monitor the interactions and movements of both locals and outsiders, picking up on any suspicious behavior or clandestine meetings that might suggest ties to the conspiracy. The guards' effectiveness in remaining hidden while maintaining a thorough watch was crucial to the success of their joint mission. The contrast between Mara's and Cale's methods became evident as the investigation unfolded. Mara's crew employed a direct approach, using their charisma and street-smart tactics to extract information from unsuspecting townsfolk. They engaged in casual conversations, skillfully steering discussions toward topics of interest, and subtly probing for details about any unusual activities or notable figures in the town. Their proactive strategy contrasted sharply with Cale's more nuanced and reserved approach. Cale's method involved a more nuanced observation from the sidelines, reflecting his careful and calculated approach to gathering intelligence. While Mara's crew engaged actively with the townspeople, Cale's guards remained silent, their eyes trained on potential points of interest. Their subtle observations provided a different layer of insight, focusing on body language, interactions, and the hidden dynamics of the market environment. This dual approach highlighted both the strengths and ongoing friction between Mara's more aggressive tactics and Cale's careful strategy. The interplay between Mara's directness and Cale's subtlety underscored the tension in their partnership. Each method brought its own advantages and challenges, and their differing approaches occasionally led to friction as they navigated the complexities of the investigation. Despite their differences, both sides recognized the value in their combined efforts, understanding that their collaboration was essential to uncovering the truth behind the conspiracy. As the day progressed, the fruits of their labor began to emerge. Mara's crew relayed snippets of overheard conversations and rumors that hinted at hidden dealings, while Cale's guards reported on suspicious behaviors and patterns they had observed. The synthesis of these findings provided a clearer picture of the conspiracy, illustrating how their disparate methods, though sometimes discordant, contributed to the broader effort. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Mara's crew and Cale's guards continued their relentless search for information. The bustling market had become a backdrop for their investigation, but it was a small, shadowy corner where they had struck gold. A local informant, enticed by a modest bribe, approached them with a hurried expression, his eyes darting nervously. His voice trembled as he revealed a crucial lead, a hidden meeting place known to be frequented by high-ranking conspirators. The informant's revelation came with a sense of urgency, his details painting a vivid picture of the clandestine operations taking place. He described a location that was shrouded in secrecy, a place that had been used for covert gatherings and unsanctioned dealings. The warehouse he described was an abandoned structure on the outskirts of town, isolated enough to avoid unwanted attention but accessible for those in the know. The informant's demeanor and the urgency in his voice underscored the gravity of the information he had shared. Mara and Cale exchanged determined glances as they processed the new lead. The warehouse, with its isolated location and reputation for secrecy, seemed like a logical spot for the conspirators to conduct their operations. The trail of clues had been growing more intricate, each piece of information pointing to deeper layers of betrayal and deception. The prospect of uncovering a critical node in the conspiracy added a renewed sense of purpose to their mission. The path to the warehouse was not without its challenges. As the team made their way to the outskirts of town, they navigated through a maze of narrow, winding streets that seemed to close in around them. The transition from the bustling market to the desolate periphery was marked by a stark contrast, the lively hum of the town giving way to an eerie silence. The warehouse stood as a looming silhouette against the dimming sky, its windows dark and boarded, hinting at the secrets it held within. Approaching the warehouse, Mara and Cale took stock of their surroundings with caution. The building's exterior was weathered and worn, its appearance suggesting years of neglect. Despite its dilapidated state, the structure was a perfect setting for clandestine activities. The shadows of twilight lengthened around them, adding to the atmosphere of foreboding as they prepared to investigate further. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation as they prepared to enter the warehouse. Mara's crew moved with practiced stealth, their experience in covert operations proving invaluable. Cale's guards positioned themselves strategically, their sharp senses attuned to any signs of danger. The team's combined efforts demonstrated their adaptability and the strength of their uneasy alliance as they approached the entrance to the abandoned building. As they approached the warehouse, every creak of the old floorboards and every rustle of the wind seemed amplified, heightening the tension. The mission had reached a critical juncture, and the information they had gathered was about to be put to the test. The sense of urgency was palpable, each member of the team focused on the task ahead and the potential breakthrough that lay within the warehouse's shadowy confines. Upon arrival, Mara and Cale approached the warehouse with deliberate caution. The structure loomed ominously against the dimming sky, its weathered exterior and broken windows hinting at years of neglect. The once sturdy walls now bore the marks of time and disrepair, adding to the foreboding atmosphere that surrounded them. The building seemed to exude an aura of abandonment, as though it had been waiting silently for something, or someone, to disturb its solitude. As they stepped inside, the air hit them like a wall, stale and heavy with the scent of decay. The dim light that filtered through the grimy windows cast long, wavering shadows across the room, creating an eerie dance of darkness. The silence within was almost oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of the old wooden floor beneath their feet. Every sound seemed magnified in the tense quiet, heightening their awareness of the potential dangers lurking in the darkened space. Navigating the darkened warehouse, Mara and Cale moved with practiced stealth, their senses sharply attuned to any signs of danger. Their eyes scanned the surroundings, taking in the clutter of discarded documents and hastily abandoned crates that suggested recent activity. The sight of scattered papers and overturned boxes painted a picture of a hurried departure, confirming that they were not the only ones who had been here recently. The evidence of the recent disturbance provided a chilling confirmation of their suspicions. The chaotic remnants of what had clearly been a hasty and disorganized exit hinted at the urgency of the conspirators' departure. As Mara and Cale examined the clues, They knew that every piece of evidence they uncovered brought them closer to understanding the full scope of the conspiracy, and the danger it posed to both their realms. Their search was abruptly interrupted by the emergence of masked figures from the shadows, their movements as fluid as they were menacing. Weapons glinted in the dim light, and their faces were obscured by dark hoods, adding an extra layer of anonymity to their threat. The suddenness of the attack caught Mara and Kale off guard, but their reflexes quickly took over. The calm that had settled over them was replaced by a tense flurry of action, each party striving to gain the upper hand. The confrontation unfolded in a swift and intense manner. Mara's combat skills came into play immediately, her blade flashing in the low light as she parried and struck with practiced precision. Beside her, Kale moved with remarkable agility, his every motion a testament to his underwater training. Their combined efforts formed a chaotic yet effective defense, their actions synchronized through an unspoken understanding forged in the heat of the moment. Despite their differences, their cooperation in battle was seamless, highlighting the effectiveness of their uneasy alliance. The skirmish, though fierce, was relatively brief. The masked assailants, realizing they were outmatched, began to retreat into the night. The shadows swallowed them up, leaving only the echo of their hurried escape and the scattered remnants of the confrontation. As the dust settled, Mara and Kale took stock of the situation, their breaths coming in sharp, uneven gasps. The immediate danger had passed, but the encounter had left its mark on them, a stark reminder of the high stakes they were facing. In the aftermath, they found themselves surrounded by a trail of clues left behind by the retreating figures. The remnants of their attackers' hasty exit included a series of cryptic symbols and hastily discarded items that only deepened the mystery. Each clue was a puzzle piece in the larger conspiracy, hinting at a network of deception and danger that stretched beyond their current understanding. The trail was both a breadcrumb and a challenge, urging them to delve further into the labyrinthine plot. The near disaster they had just experienced underscored the perilous nature of their mission. The lengths to which the conspirators were willing to go to protect their secrets were now painfully clear. Every encounter with the unknown seemed to carry the potential for lethal consequences, reinforcing the urgency of their quest. Mara and Kale were acutely aware that their investigation was not just a race against time but a battle against forces that would stop at nothing to keep their plans hidden. As they continued their investigation, the weight of the confrontation lingered in their minds. The attack had been a stark reminder of the dangers they faced, and the knowledge that their enemies were actively working against them added a new layer of tension to their mission. Despite the setbacks and the chaos, Mara and Kale remained resolute. Their shared commitment to uncovering the truth and securing their realms drove them forward, even as the threat of further violence loomed on the horizon. As night fell and the warehouse settled back into its eerie silence, Mara and Kale took a moment to regroup. The chaotic aftermath of their confrontation was a stark contrast to the stillness around them. Their breaths had steadied, and their focus sharpened, underscoring the resilience of their partnership despite the evening's dangers. The urgency of their mission was palpable, but so was the resolve that had been forged through their shared struggle. The trail of clues they had discovered amidst the remnants of the battle was more than just a collection of scattered evidence. It was a symbol of their growing collaboration. Each clue they found added a piece to the intricate puzzle they were piecing together. Despite the escalating dangers, the fact that they had managed to extract valuable information from the confrontation spoke to the strength of their alliance, and their ability to work together under pressure. With new leads in hand, Mara and Kale prepared to push forward into the night. Their next steps were guided by the fresh insights they had gained, each one pulling them deeper into the labyrinth of the conspiracy. The warehouse had been just a waypoint on their journey, a dark and dangerous stop on the path to unraveling the broader plot. The path ahead was still fraught with uncertainty, but their determination to see their mission through was unwavering. As they moved to continue their search, the weight of their task loomed over them. The danger they faced was not just from the conspirators but from the complex web of deceit that surrounded them. Yet, with each step they took, Mara and Cale felt a renewed sense of purpose. They knew that every lead uncovered and every danger faced brought them closer to the heart of the conspiracy. Their mission was clear: to unravel the plot and prevent the disaster threatening their realms.